West Denver. Sleep deprived and heavily caffeinated.
All right, let's do this then.
This is the Jeff and Bill Show.
I don't agree with that.
They don't always agree, but hey, at least they have coffee.
Coffee.
And each other.
Love you, man.
God help us.
I want to bless him. We need all the help we can get.
Now here's Jeff Hunt and Bill Thorpe. The Jeff and Bill Show on News Talk 710 KNUS.
It is 6 a.m. in the Mile High City on this Monday, September 8th. Good morning, Denver, Colorado. You've tuned into the Jeff and Bill Show, News Talk 710 KNUS. I'm your co-host, Jeff Hunt, along with Bill Thorpe, bringing you the freshest insights, hottest takes from the right, left, and center. Lots to talk about over the weekend, including this Phillies Karen thing.
Yeah, that was a surprise.
I don't think they've identified her yet, because what I've seen online is they've actually misidentified her.
Yeah, they misidentified her, and the woman came out and said, I'm not even a Phillies fan. I'm a Red Sox fan.
She had to post it on her.
Yeah.
I am not Phillies Karen.
Yeah.
Leave me alone.
There's another name that has been floated out there that I'm not comfortable saying yet because we don't know if it's right or not.
Right.
So, yeah, there's the first name, not correct. Second name, not sure. Although, okay. And I'm just between you and me. One of the most shocking things about that video, the lady's haircut. What the hell are you doing there?
Oh, dude, that is a classic.
Oh, it's a Karen haircut, sure. But
Karen
just like,
haircut.
And what it comes back to is it's a Kate from John and Kate Plus 8.
Yeah,
that's what reminded me
right.
because she is the Karen archetype. Yeah. If you go back, she's it. The hair, the attitude, the finger wag.
Yes,
it's her. Yeah.
So if you're not aware of what we're talking about, allow me to describe it for you. I'll give you a play-by-play.
Yes, please do.
Home run ball hit at a Phillies-Mariners game down in California, I believe, right? Or Florida. Not
in Florida.
In Florida. Yeah. So home run ball hit by a Phillies player into kind of center right field, I believe, right?
Oddly, all the stands aren't filled, weirdly enough. Just saying, there's no many seats.
If it was a Rockies game, it would have been filled.
Yes, exactly. No one would be paying attention, but that's still would have been filled. People are going, what's this ball doing here?
They
throw it back
the other
in the field.
team out there.
Yeah, they throw it back from the field. Get this out of here. This isn't doing us.
So home run ball hit, and it bounces just a little bit. It kind of bounces in between some chairs, and a dad grabs the ball. He snatches, right? And the way, from my understanding, it works. And maybe we could bring Blake Olson. Should we bring Blake into this conversation?
Yeah, let's bring Blake Olson in on this. Because that way he can be wrong and,
in case. Good morning, Blake Olson.
Hey, good morning, guys.
So ball bounces around a little bit, and I'm guessing we already got the text messages coming in. It looks like Elizabeth Warren. Yeah, it did look like Elizabeth Warren.
It did.
So
I saw that a couple of times. Some really clever people in Photoshop online. Yes, photoshopping your face on there. It was fantastic. That was really good.
Ball bounces just a little bit. Dad snatches it and takes it over to his son. Puts it in his son's glove, and he turns around to hug his son, and this woman just storms right on up to him, and the look on the dad's face is amazing. It makes it perfect.
He shivers for a second, and he's like, it's like open eyes, like, yeah.
Yes. He shivers. And she just unloads on him. That's my ball. And they actually have video because this is why I love this day and age.
Yes.
The woman next to him, who's not even affiliated with them, films the confrontation, and she's yelling, "That's my ball. Give me my ball. That's my ball. You took that ball from me." And the dad just goes, what? Okay, whatever. And to just kind of like placate the Karen, takes the ball out of his son's glove and puts it, and she storms off back to her seat. And what ends up happening is the crowd boos her and starts yelling at her. She starts, it looks like, giving the middle finger to people.
Yes, she does. They have video of that. Yes.
And
she starts giving people the finger salute, which is going to endear her to the crowd to no end. They're going to definitely make friends that way.
And I guess I was watching an interview with the dad. He said the husband just was like, "What are you doing?" and leaves. Like, he doesn't want to have anything to do with her. And so they go back up into the kind of meeting area. The Mariners or the Phillies staff, the Mariners staff gives him like the boy a little bag and comes down and tries to kind of alleviate the situation and give him a little gift bag and stuff.
And the Philly guy to hit the home run gave the kid a signed bat after the game as well. Yeah.
So many questions here. All right, in my social media world, some of the more I would say hard right guys were going, the dad was wrong. He placated the Karen. This is why we can't have nice things in America, because men won't say no to the Karens, that type of thing. Here's my read on it. And this is why I love having Blake Olson here and Bill. Okay. But Blake with the sports background. Okay. I think the dad made the right decision. Okay. Because he de-escalated. I mean, what did you want him to do? I don't get what the kind of hard right wants him to like get into a fisticuffs battle with her. I don't know what they wanted the dad to do. I think the dad, by just going, look, take the ball, de-escalate the situation, and he didn't know this, but he made the right move. The son gets to meet the players. The son gets a signed bat. The whole family's down, meeting players afterwards. It clearly worked out in his favor. I think he made the right decision. Blake, what do you think?
Oh, I totally agree. And the greatest thing he got from this is the video. His son, I think it's his stepson or soon-to-be son, got the ball, and he'll have this video the rest of his life. He sees his dad or stepdad or whoever he is just walking over and just rushing her with the quickness. Like, you want an equal playing field, people? You know? Okay, look, I'm going to bend my knees. I'm going to rip this ball. It didn't even look like she had a chance. Honestly, it looked like two other people had as good a chance as her to get the ball. Bend your knees, girl. Get down there and play the field. I mean, come on. So he wins. And the son wins, he wins, they have the video, and everybody is on the side, for the most part, of the dad. So I'm right there with you. I don't know what Billy thinks.
Yeah, for me, okay, the first question is how do you define, in that situation, how are we defining possession? The idea that have one finger, two finger, three fingers on it, to me, at that instant, isn't possession. And also, unfortunately for me, and again, I'm one of those people that's a little wired a little differently, even if you have it necessarily in your hand and you're another adult and I could even pull it out of your hand, I'm okay with some of that. Now, if it's a child and adult, no, you don't pull it out of the hand of a child.
Correct.
But another adult, it's kind of like being in the bottom of the pile in football at that point. It's somewhat of a free-for-all in that situation. However, you know, I do have a little bit of, you know, if it came to you and you almost caught it and it fell to the ground and then it's a scrum, okay, maybe it's yours. But none of that occurs in this situation. This, to me, is a free-for-all. That ball is open. Whoever walks out of the pile with it, it's theirs, as long as there's nothing like punching or hitting it that's going on. As long as it emerged from it, it's your ball.
Exactly.
I think he made the right choice. And I think he made the right choice because it's something, and this is, again, we talk about it with my soccer team. We had a lot of bench clearing brawls. So I never was afraid of an altercation. But what I've told my kids is you have to take a lot of consideration about, is that altercation needed here? What is going to be accomplished? And at that point, with the Karen yelling at you about, hey, it's my ball, it's this ball, it's this ball, the kid didn't catch it. You know, the dad ran over and got it. The kid didn't. For me, it's like the idea of, okay, in order to not sit here and have the Karen screaming at me, fine. I'll give you the ball because I will de-escalate the situation. I will show my son that while it should have been our ball, rather than having her yell at us, we'll let it go. And is it really necessary to argue over this ball? Now, if we were arguing over, say, seats that we paid for on an airplane, seats at a concert, a a parking spot that has my name on it. Okay, yeah, then we're yelling at each other. Then we're going full on. I'm going to make a scene. But in this situation, I don't think it was necessary, and I think he actually showed his son the right choice, that it's not always about an altercation. There are times when you can be the bigger person by de-escalating, even if you don't necessarily get what you want. And the larger lesson taught here is, look what the son learned. Dad made the difficult choice. Dad made a hard choice. How hard is that for a dad or a stepdad to reach down out and take the ball out of the glove of your child? That is so hard to do. But because he made that choice, the bonuses on the other end have been fantastic. The reward that this child has seen because dad made the right choice is going to be a lesson he's going to take with him the rest of his life. And his sister will, and all of his friends will. And it's because dad made a difficult choice at that time, but the end result is amazing. That's a lesson. That's the lesson here.
Yes.
I agree. I agree. When what those kids are going to learn after all of this is you don't have to win the battle at that moment to win the war.
Yeah, that if you're the better person, things are going to balance out. Yeah.
Because, and that's America, too.
Yeah.
Like, America recognizes those things and goes, you know what? That we're not going to stand for that. Here's another take on it. I want to get your point. This is a post that was made on social media. The biggest issue with Phillies, Karen, is how strongly the issue resonates across America. My theory as to why this has to do with the teachers' unions and the HR departments. Most Americans are tired of being heckled by middle-aged women with authority demanding that we all acquiesce to their crazy ideas lest we be fired or kicked out of school. Is there like an HR component to that, Karen, that we all are just like, oh, man, we've all had to deal with somebody like that in our life?
I think I think it's more of a universal of us as Americans. I wouldn't necessarily put it on teacher unions or HR departments. I would put it on us as our behavior. We have this incredible sense of self-entitlement, and despite proof to the contrary, there are a large number of us that are firmly convinced the universe revolves around us. And what goes on. And that's it, is I think that there are certain Americans that have a hard time placing themselves into other people's shoes and understanding what it looks like outside of the realm of just their little world. And they're convinced that because I want it, I can have it and I should have it, simply because I want it. And whatever that may be. I also do think that there has been in our society, there's and I see it on a little bit on Democrats and a little bit on Republicans, and it's more on fringes, this idea of having to be the social police about as far as what's acceptable and what isn't. And again, I'm not above this. When someone parks their car out in front of the grocery store and is sitting there for 4 or 5 minutes, I'll say something. I'm not going to start an altercation, but I'm going to say something going, their parking spot's right over there, and that's what they're for. This is not the parking spot for you. Regardless of the reason that you're doing it, if
you're talking when they're up there at the fire lane, like right at the entrance.
Absolutely.
Just sitting.
Yeah, I get no problem with that one, talking to those people. So there is that, but there is this scolding aspect that happens, that where you get into that Karen world that oversteps the boundaries. And I'm sensitive to it because, I will absolutely point out your dumbassery in public, jumping the line, stuff like that. I got no problems with that. But there is a line that you have to draw without being a Karen. So, or I guess I'd be a Chad.
Blake, Blake, why do you think that moment with the Phillies game resonated so much with the American people?
Because to me, it drew the line between reality and fake. And we're so much about fake in this world, like the entitlement, what you said. We're supposed to believe that, for example, every female can be as strong and dynamic and physically dominating as every man in the movies that we see. We're supposed to believe that WNBA players are just as good as NBA players. Not that it's not entertaining to watch. I love watching women's basketball at times, but we're supposed to believe that we're all equal. And that dude just walked up there and snatched the ball. She didn't have a chance at it. And then she is one of these believers in I should have the ribbon no matter what, because it was in my vicinity. That was my ball because my brain told me that was my ball, even though I didn't get it. I wasn't quick and strong enough and fast enough to get it. Okay, that's what I'm going to say right now. Even though, I was thinking, if that guy didn't give it to his son, would I be kind of angry at him? Maybe I would. What are you doing? Just get the ball and give it to the lady or
Did you guys
kid.
Did you guys see the guy that owns the investment company in Poland that recently during took
the hat.
Took the hat from the kid. So now you have an adult that's grabbing the hat out of the hands of the kid. And what I was surprised at, no one went Karen on him. There was no one in that crowd that went Karen on him. That I surprised, just given the context of what's going on here. Yeah, I was really surprised, and that kid was heartbroken.
Mm-hmm.
So, all right, you guys want my take on this?
Yes.
Yes,
All
please.
The shrieking harpy and how she's destroying America. All right. So you have this great, Americana moment. The dad who gets the ball for his kid. We're out watching baseball. It's summer nights, weekend. Everything's great. Everything's the just pure Americana that was taking place. And then in the midst of it, and I interview these people down at these protests, these shrieking harpies just invade the situation, completely ruin it, and then try to, essentially steal this ball from this little boy that's just out with his dad. It is just, I think we're just tired. We're done with shrieking harpies destroying what's great about America. And it could be that. It could be at these protests where they're screaming all the time about Donald Trump or whatever it might be. We just don't want to deal with it anymore.
Yeah,
So,
they also scream a lot at
I
school
agree.
board meetings about how you're ruining the kids. Again, this is for me, this is a behavior that I see on both sides. I remember Karens screaming at school board members and yelling at them about what they're doing and destroying families. Yeah, I've seen that as well. So, yeah.
Interesting.
All right, join the conversation. 303-696-1971. We are 17 minutes in, and Billy and I are ready to kick off a debate.
Yes, exactly. This will be fun.
Or text us at 720-819-5115. Now it's time for News and Comment with Blake Olson.
Blake Olson.
Blake Olson, News and Comment.
Hey, good morning. As Jeff and Billy just said, it is a happy Monday morning. Already getting after it. 58 and clear. It is really beautiful outside right now. If you can get out there and take a walk, expecting a high of 87 today. This portion of the news sponsored by Pastor Camp Heating and Air Conditioning at 303-777-1234 to learn more about special savings opportunities on Lennox equipment. Our top story, a boy has died after a house party shooting in Denver. The shooting in the 1100 block of North Syracuse Street was reported on social media early Saturday morning. Investigators say the boy was shot in a parking lot outside the party and died after he was taken to the hospital. No arrests have been announced. Police investigating a hit-and-run death in Denver's Lincoln Park neighborhood. Officers were called to the area of West 14th Avenue and North Lipan early Saturday morning. The initial report said there was a shooting, but investigators discovered that the person killed was hit by a vehicle. No information about the suspect vehicle has been announced.
That's why you're second rate. We're not going to war. We're going to clean up our cities. We're going to clean them up so they don't kill 5 people every weekend. That's not war. That's common sense.
And DJT doubling down on his vow to clean up Chicago. His comments followed weekly protests against his repeated threats to send federal troops, including a social media post warning Chicago is about to find out why it's called the Department of War.
Did you see Kyle Clark's tweet about that?
I did not.
Oh, he
no.
lost his mind. It
Did
is
he?
so awesome to watch Donald Trump just get these guys going so much. So that particular tweet, right? Chicago's
Yes.
about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And it has Trump with the Apocalypse Now guy, right? And like fire coming up, and it says Chipocalypse Now.
Oh.
And then he says, "I love the smell of deportations in the morning." And Kyle Clark writes, a U.S. president threatening to use the military against civilians in an American city is not normal. And journalists who choose to ignore or normalize this should explain their choice to the communities they serve. And I respond, right? So it's like journalists who choose to ignore and normalize this should explain their choice to the communities they serve. And I just responded, journalists who choose to ignore and normalize murder, drug overdoses, and illegal alien gangs should explain their choice to the communities they serve.
Touche. Amen to that. Boy, isn't that the truth?
But they're losing their minds over this. Not the amount of murders, not the terrible things taking place in these communities. It's amazing how progressives have just accepted this and said, well, this is just the way cities are always going to be. And anyone trying to clean it up is the problem. That's amazing to me.
No, they love living in their cities where they can just stay in your own little neighborhood. Okay, but don't go over there. Don't go to the east side. Don't go to the northeast side. Don't go to the southeast. Wherever you may be.
Kyle Clark does not live in 5 Points.
No, they don't. Exactly. They don't want to.
He doesn't live downtown. He lives in the swanky part, I assume.
Well,
and then he's got his own bodyguards that go with him.
They want to turn their back on it, and they've been doing that in Chicago forever.
Yep.
And finally, we all say, you know what? Why do we care about all these countries in the Middle East? How about taking care of our own cities? That's what's happening.
Yep.
Finally.
And I think they could have an argument about the use of military if you saw systemic civil rights abuses, right?
Yes,
like
absolutely.
I don't want to live in a militarized town where I've got to show my ID to get to checkpoint to checkpoint to checkpoint, and you have American citizens being thrown into gulags. That's not what we're talking about here.
No.
That's where the left wants to take it and make that argument. But at this point, you're seeing the military help with ICE deportations or just standing around with the argument being that you're not going to steal a car next to a guy with a M16 standing out on the street.
But haven't they been picking up garbage in D.C. and doing stuff like that? I mean, I'm just saying that.
Yeah, sure, but I mean, maybe, but that's not these massive, civil rights violations that you get Kyle Clark complaining about.
But I'm just saying it seems inefficient to have the National Guard picking up trash. I'm pretty sure I could train somebody for $25, just in an hour. I could get them to do it and probably pay them a lot less. I'm just saying if we're talking about we're worried about budgetary issues, it's costing around $1 million a day to keep the Guard inside of D.C. And if what we're doing with that million is picking up trash, I think we could reorder our priorities. Question I've got on the whole Chipocalypse thing is, does it matter the reference and the character they're referencing? That's the thing that concerned me, is who they're referencing in the movie. That's significant. That's Lieutenant Kilgore. That's huge. The dude, while not necessarily the total bad guy, the idea of I love the smell of napalm in the morning, that's a reference when he takes out an entire village, and it doesn't matter who the combatants are. Everyone that I see is a combatant. It doesn't matter if you are a criminal or you're civilian or you're military. Doesn't matter. For him, he celebrates war because it's war. That's who he is. So the idea that the White House would use Kilgore, an amoral warmonger, as the archetype for Donald Trump, a person who's saying he's going to bring war to Chicago, and Kilgore, as an admission, doesn't care if he kills civilians. That's
This is where you guys are reading way too much into it.
No.
This is
No, I'm not.
This reaction is exactly what he wants.
No, I'm not. Because here's the idea: is you didn't understand the reference. You didn't understand the reference you were using. It's a cultural reference that refers back to a character in a movie. If you're going to pretend to be that character in the movie, you're telling me to judge you based on those actions. This is not on me or anybody else reading into it. This is the affiliation and the association the White House wanted to make. So it is fair to critique. That is a weird archetype in order to portray in that message. The idea that you would want the president to enforce law as Kilgore sees law enforcement in American cities. That's a really weird archetype to be looking at. That's
reading way too much into it.
No,
go ahead.
I'm using what they said. I'm using the picture they used, the movie they referenced.
I'm sorry
and
there's not
the
an
person they're doing
Apocalypse
it.
Now character that perfectly exemplifies who Donald Trump wants to be.
Maybe what you do is you don't use that reference then. You chose the reference, White House. You chose the characterization. You chose the quote. That's on you. That's not on me. You told me the movie. You told me the character. You told me the quote. You told me. You were telling me and pointing me to this character.
He would pick any character and you guys would draw something out of it.
Not at all. As long as there's something there. As long as there's something there. That's as long as there's something there that we could. Okay, then don't make the reference.
If he was Superman, you draw something out of it. All right, go ahead, Blake.
Braveheart would have been the white supremacy.
No, that wouldn't have been where I gone. It would have been different. But again, if that's the reference they want, go right ahead. But that one, Apocalypse Now, yeah, that's a little spooky. If you're a Law and Order person. Yeah, that's not exactly what Kilgore is about at all. That's not what that character is about. That's not what that scene's about.
But Bill,
zero to do with
in
that.
the same breath, you just argued that they're not doing anything and picking up trash, and then Donald Trump's embraced the character of napalming innocent people.
Yes. Yeah, I said the message is wrong. I said the message is wrong. His entire message there is wrong. The one, and both things can be true. The use of the guard can be a waste of money based on what they're doing. That can be true. And the reference that Donald Trump and the White House is trying to make based on the character in a movie that they chose, not me. Based on a quote they chose, not me.
All right.
That's
Blake,
perfectly
Good
fair.
point. Good point. All right, guys. Let's. I think those are some great points. Though I can't argue with Billy when it comes to movies. So I'm at a loss there. 7:45 to go in the game. Broncos up 13-12. We got two tight ends to the right, one receiver to the left. 19-yard line taking on the Titans on Sunday.
They're in the red zone now. And a give to J.K. Dobbins. And he breaks a tackle and has a Denver touchdown.
Yeah, he broke two tackles. Doesn't matter how you do it, just get it done. And the Broncos are 1-0 after kicking off the season against the Titans. Bo Nix, 25 of 40, 176 in the air, through the air. One touchdown, two interceptions, had a fumble, lost it. R.J. Harvey, 70 yards rushing. Dobbins, 63 yards rushing. Cortland Sutton, 6 catches and a touchdown. But the defense was great.
Wow.
I think they were 2 of something on third down. I think they had 2 first downs in the second half. So they were outstanding.
Yeah, defense was awesome, weren't they?
That was insane. Did you see the stat at one point? I think it was third or early fourth quarter, where they had just about the same amount of yards of offense as they did in yards of penalties.
Yeah,
It was like spread out
exactly.
it was like change of 3 yards one way or the other. Yeah, the Denver defense looked spooky again. Defense looks better always earlier in the season than the offense does. But that Denver defense, I think the Mendoza line for the defense is 16 points. If the offense can score 16, I think we got a chance of winning games. If they're under 16, I think it's going to be tight. But I believe that our defense, based on what they showed yesterday, can hold any team in the league under 16. I'm not saying it will week in and week out because every game is different, but it absolutely has the potential. If you're coming to, and you're going to play Denver,
No doubt.
you got to look at the idea that you better try to score more than 16 points because the offense can maybe be able to put that up on you, and if you don't, you're losing.
Yep.
Yeah, this is a dangerous
It's
defense.
encouraging. It is encouraging when you have a defense like that. Almost, they can improve offensively. I truly believe that with the second-year quarterback. There's no doubt about it.
And they're platooning people too on the defense.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah,
that was
that's
the thing
right.
for me is there wasn't this
See all
drop
those
off.
bodies,
Yeah,
yep.
you're loading people in, and it keeps coming. You're like, wow,
Beautiful.
Yeah, they really messed up the Tennessee Titans quarterback. He was so confused. It was fun to watch.
He has a lot of potential too. Cam Ward. He's going
does he ever?
He's going to be great.
His wide receivers let him down. Yeah.
Yeah, they did.
No
he
doubt.
had some passes that got dropped.
Yeah, some incredible passes.
I saw him 2 years ago at Washington State, and I was like, "Whoa, unbelievable!" And then he went to Miami, University of Miami, transferred there, and he's going to be special. There are so many good quarterbacks right now. Just really impressive with their feet and their arms and just everything involved. So last night the Ravens were leading the Bills by 15 halfway through the fourth quarter. I went to bed, but then I heard my son screaming. Then everything unraveled. And the Bills come back following 2 turnovers and a former Bronco kicker, Matt Prater, comes off the practice squad with a winning 32-yarder, 41-40 Buffalo.
First-year player, I should say, is the man protecting, and Henry lost the football. And the Bills are down there.
And that was the play that just crushed. Henry had a huge game.
Oh, he was.
And then oh my God,
he's a monster.
He is.
He's so scary.
It's like he's 22 years old.
It's again for me, and you'll understand the reference. For me, there are very few times that you see that kind of a punishment back. I haven't seen someone run. Now, Okoye out of Kansas City was like that, but he was short-lived. I'm talking long-term. This is Earl Campbell type of running. That's what I see. I see Earl Campbell just this monster who is. It takes it 2-3 people just to bring him down. I don't think there's been a runner like that in quite a while.
Jerome Bettis was one of them.
Yeah.
But you're right. The fact that he's been able to play as long as I don't even know how many years he's been in.
For me, the Bettis, Derrick Henry and Earl Campbell had better speed than Bettis did. Now it could just be my eyes. And I could be completely totally wrong. But that was the feeling I had, that Bettis was really good and really powerful. But when you get 5-7 yards away from the scrimmage, then I think Derrick Henry and Earl Campbell had some speed to keep it going where Bettis necessarily didn't. But again, who cares?
No question.
I'd take anything. Any day of the week. I'm not picking.
Absolutely.
Just a
he does.
Like
You're right. His speed is incredible especially for his size and his age. I mean, it's
his age too. Yeah,
it's incredible, man. Aaron Rodgers looked great with the Steelers, who beat the Jets. Micah Parsons and the Packers over the Lions. Mark Crowley is upset about that this morning. The Buffs win over the weekend, as does Wyoming, and UNC looked like they were going to just upset CSU on their home turf in front of all their thousands of fans, but had a touchdown pass ripped away by the officials. They said it wasn't a catch by Carver Cheeks. CSU marches downfield, and they score a touchdown, seconds remaining, and they escape that one. And that would have been UNC's third win in the last 3 years, only three wins. But CSU better improve. They have a week off if they want to turn it around and play better than they did over the weekend. But give hats off to UNC, the players and the coaches there. 56 in Parker, 57 in Centennial, 58 in Denver. Jeff and Billy continue. Blake Olson, News Talk 710 KNUS.
The Denver forecast on this early Monday, just a few passing clouds this morning, temperatures in the mid-50s by daybreak. Then for the rest of your Monday, mostly sunny and summery, highs around 85, lows down to 60 tonight. Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, lots of sunshine and dry with highs in the upper 80s. Weather brought to you by L&L Heating and Air Conditioning. For quick, trustworthy, and dependable service, call L&L Heating and Air Conditioning at 720-851-1691. Visit them online at bestdenverhvac.com. That's bestdenverhvac.com. You'll be comfortable with L&L. I'm day weather meteorologist Patrice Sutter in the 710 KNUS Weather Center.
Welcome back to the Jeff and Bill Show. Opinion piece in the New York Times. I want to ask you gentlemen about this. The future is flag. Talking about how, well, the NFL is more prosperous than ever, kicking off its 106th season, still faces a crisis over concussions and other head injuries, one that's it's been slow to resolve. Tackle football's gladiator style, they write, may seem perfectly suited to a world in which the leader of the Ultimate Fighting Championship, Dana White, has President Trump's ear, yet lingering concerns about its inherent risks of the sport have created a demand for a safer alternative for both new players and potential fans. Think we're ever going to go into flag football? Maybe in our lifetime? Do you think we're ever going to see the NFL move over to flag football?
Ooh,
Bill,
Blake, I'll let you take this one first. What do you think?
I would say no, because one of the reasons it is so popular is it is a collision sport. And because of the risk factor involved, and the majority of people don't have to be involved in that risk physically, we love to see a train crash. And that's one of the people don't want to go out and watch people pulling flags. I mean, come on. I mean, maybe in 40, 50 years we may see that, but absolutely not.
Yeah, I don't think it'll get there within our lifetime, but I do think we can get there. And the reason behind it is that flag football, in my opinion, has intelligently focused on the sexy plays and the sexy players, meaning you don't have linemen. You don't have a lot of the grunt work. And even a 2-yard run inside of flag football is a vastly different proposition than it is in the NFL. And that's why I always tell parents, if you want to start your kids playing football, start them with flag, because nobody's child is going out in the backyard and saying, 3 seconds left in the Super Bowl. Thorpe is the center. He has the ball. He hikes it and blocks. No, nobody's doing that. No.
Good point.
You're
That's a good point.
You're throwing the
Mr.
ball. You're catching the ball. You're running for the touchdown. You're stopping the throw. Those are the sexy things. That's what the kids are playing. So I think that's got a huge advantage. So until we can get to a model where those type of skill plays are so celebrated that it becomes more of an advantage to watch flag football. And here's why I think it could eventually make the transition. Because, and this is kind of a weird one, and I'm not sure I'm right about this in any way, shape, or form. I'd love to hear you guys thoughts about it. Because I think it solves one of the biggest marketing problems the NFL has: their helmet. When you're watching the person play, you may have a Josh Allen jersey. You may have a Bo Nix jersey. You might have a Lamar Jackson jersey. You don't see his face while playing, versus every other major sport. That has been somewhat of a marketing hurdle the NFL is struggling to get over, that the average fan doesn't always recognize the faces of the superstar players or even the secondary star players. That changes inside of flag football. If and only if the NFL sees a marketing opportunity for the stars in flag football as a way to grow the game, then I think you've got it. Then I think you do. However, I'll twist this one a little bit. If I did see the NFL start a flag football league, they're going to start it with the women first. That's my bet. It'll be a female flag football league first. Then they're going to go to the men. But that's my wild take.
That works.
Yeah, I think combat's too important to it. You see it with UFC and you see it with football, that element, that aspect of the game is just part of the enjoyment and the excitement of the game. And we started with flag football too, and that was fun. Like, our kids played flag, and we put them in 1 or 2 seasons of tackle football. And I think that was important for them, because as a man growing up and you're watching the NFL, you always have that lingering thought, could I do that? Could I do that? You know, and could I have made it to the pros? Could I be one of those superstars that's playing on Sunday morning and making the big plays and all that stuff? And then you get hit, and you realize that there are guys that are just built for that, and you are not one of them. And to go through that life learning process. Like, I didn't play football. I played rugby. In high school, I played 2 years of rugby, and I got so hurt that my cross country and track coaches were like, Jeff, you've got to pick because you're missing out on your track season because you're having to have surgeries to recover for what you did during your rugby season. And so you just got to kind of come to terms with the way that God built you. But watching it every Sunday and just going as a young man, oh gosh, it would have been so cool to be the starting quarterback. And then realizing that God just didn't make you for that. I think that's an important journey that a young man goes through.
I also think that the sound people take for granted. The crack of the pads and the helmet.
Yes.
People love that. You cannot replace that. You just can't.
It's a good point.
Joan from Lakewood saying we'll see robots in football before we see flag football.
True.
I don't know about that one because for me, the idea of, and again, here's the idea is I think if we went robots, you'd have to go closer to BattleBots where you would have to arm
more violent.
Oh yeah, you have to arm the robots with
The
some sort of
robot
weapon.
for the Broncos just lost his arm.
Yeah, that's exactly what would have to happen because otherwise, who
Ripped
cares?
off by the Kansas City robot.
Because for me, running one robot into another one versus running humans into each other, I'm more interested in the human. I have less concern about the robots. I'm not as impressed.
We're going to get more violent.
Yeah, I'm not as impressed with the robots crashing into each other. I'm like, it doesn't matter. So again, you have spinning blades, things like that, knives that happen. Okay, then I can see we go in that direction. But until then, no, I don't think robots are going to come in. I don't think so.
Speaking of ridiculousness, it's Monday
Yes.
morning and it's what the people really want, Bill. You choose the news.
Yes, it's that time of the morning where we get to play America's favorite fake radio news game show. We call it You Choose the News. I've spent just moments this morning scouring the interwebs for really, really dumb stories about us humans and giving them more ridiculous headlines to play this fake radio news game show. Why at 6:50 in the morning here on 710 KNUS would we waste this kind of valuable airtime? Well, because those in charge are not awake at this hour. No, they are not. So we're going to take full advantage of being left unsupervised. And as always, Blake Olson joins us from the news department. Jeff is in the studio. Gentlemen, here are your headline choices. Headline number 1, quick, call the Hardy Boys. Headline number 2, girls taking the jobs of men. Headline number 3, bulk denial. And headline number 4, fighting for crime.
Ooh, let's fight for crime.
Yes, let's fight for crime. If you've ever visited the lovely tourism city of Venice, it's fantastic. Those wonderful gondolas, the canals, the history, and those pickpockets. Yeah, there's a lot of crime on the streets of Venice targeting the tourists, and there's a group of grassroots volunteers calling themselves the Not Distracted Citizens that are now filming the suspects, warning passerbys,
With
and
whistles.
confronting them.
They're amazing. I watch these videos all the time.
Awesome.
They go, picky pocket, picky pocket, picky pocket. They chase them around.
And now they're being sued.
Oh!
By the pickpockets.
Oh.
Yes, the pickpockets are suing the volunteers that are working to prevent the theft. Now, what
Classic.
exactly are the pickpockets doing? Monica Poli, the group's most visible figure, nicknamed Lady Pickpocket, has expressed frustration at what is going on with these do-gooders. She's saying they are filming her and confronting her on the street without her consent. She is making legal claims that include stalking and other things, taking these do-gooders to court. This is raising a question about where civic duty ends and unlawful behavior begins. Remember, the criminals are taking the people that are trying to prevent the crime stuff to court because they're stopping them from doing the crime.
Unbelievable.
Yes, this is going to be fun.
Entitlement.
Yeah, I love
Wow.
that. I know, isn't that crazy?
Can you get all your friends to be named in the lawsuit so we just have a list of
Just
who
list
to
them. Exactly who they are. Alrighty, Blake, quick, call the Hardy Boys. Girls taking the jobs of men or bulk denial? What's your choice?
Quick, call the Hardy Boys.
Yes, quick, call the Hardy Boys. Well, in something out of a Hardy Boys novel, it turns out that the statue of Peg Leg Pete contains human remains inside, and the city of Fernandina Beach has known about it for over a year. Yes. Emails show that Fernandina Beach City Council has known about the human remains inside the pirate statue for more than a year. How did they get there? Oh, boy, is that a story. We got a little bit of time here. Now, Peg Leg Pete is a wooden statue that sits on Center Street inside of Fernandina Beach. He's been there for decades. He's carved out of wood, but Pete's seen better days. You know, the weather, the sun, it's taking a toll. They need to do some rehab on Pete, but the local pirate club has told them, wait, what about the person inside? What? Yes. Over a year ago, the pirate club came clean that more than 50 years ago, when they were carving the statue and donating it to the city, one of their club members had a dying wish to be cremated and placed inside of Pirate Pete. Thus, the Pirate Club member still is there today, and now the city has a question about how in the heck do we do any sort of renovation on Pirate Pete? Yeah. For some reason, our closed music is starting earlier.
Awesome.
Bulk denial or girls taking jobs of men? Jeff.
Go with the first one.
No, we just do girls taking jobs of men. Teenage girls in Sweden are now joining the organized crime world. We talked about teenage boys being hired as hitmen. Now it's teenage girls. Why? They're better at it, according to the experts. They'll kill you with no remorse.
I believe that.
Whoa,
Yeah.
You're listening to Jeff and Bill.
This is KNUS.